Welcome to Final Illusion Fiction, where today we are talking about Maze of Doors, Lizard. In this series, Susan Delgado is stuck in a maze of doors, where each door leads to a different time frame or dimension. Susan inhabits a host body and is stuck there until the host, or somebody else tied to the story, dies. She then returns to the maze to continue her search for the door that leads back to her own body. Check out the Maze of Doors intro video for more details. Lizard is the first book in the Maze of Doors series, but it is the 11th door she's gone through. The story of how she ended up in the maze, how she reacts to it, and the first 10 doors she goes through will be covered in later videos. Lizard is the first time Susan goes into a non-human host. Susan travels to a world of humanoid lizards that evolved instead of humans. They are a pre-technology tribe, living a simple life of hunting and farming. Susan enters a teenage female lizard named Saar, a willful and strange girl one season away from marrying age. Susan enters Saar at the start of the challenge competition. Here, 3 males fight to the death gladiator style for the right to marry. The males were chosen by a female from a lineup of all the marrying eligible males in the tribe. They line up oldest to youngest, and the female goes through and chooses the first 3 males she senses to be genetically compatible. After the challenge, the lizards convert the arena into a field for their favorite sport, tree ball. A bit like Quidditch, the goal is to get your ball into one of the circles at the end of the court any way you can. The biggest difference is that they are playing on a court filled with artificial trees, so they can travel both above and on the ground. Add in the tackling from football, and you start to get an idea of how the game is played. With no quarters or penalties, tree ball is a violent game of non-stop action. Once the day's festivities are over, Susan retreats to the forest and probes Saar's mind for more information about her and her tribe's culture. She learns all about the details of the lizard's day-to-day life, from their child rearing — they are born from eggs and raised together by tribe members instead of traditional parents — to their mating rituals. Once they consummate a marriage, they are bonded for life, even if one of them dies, to their views of the universe and the world around them. This last point is where we learn a peculiar trait of the lizards. They have little imagination. They seem to be missing the part of the brain that humans have that make them curious and creative. This limits their growth in significant ways. They have no written language, no astronomy, and no concept of a higher power. All of the technological discoveries they do possess, like agriculture and basic metallurgy, have come about from a few rare free thinkers that have been born over the years. Ideas for advancement come from these rare lizards, and then they go back to their improvement-free lives until the next one comes along. Saar is one of these rare thinkers. She doesn't like following rules and often challenges her elders when none of her fellow lizards do. Saar's talent expresses itself by making her a gifted hunter, the best in the tribe. Her abilities in archery are unmatched. She's able to visualize difficult shots and hit her target in a way no lizard before her ever has. Susan also learns that other tribes of lizards exist nearby, most notably the mountain lizards. The mountain lizards attack them once per generation. By the time they learn of an impending attack, it is too late to call upon the other lizard tribes for help, so Saar's tribe always has to fight them alone. Saar's mind recounts to Susan the different strategies they use to defeat them time after time. The mountain lizards never seem to learn and can be counted on to attack again in the future. Susan is interrupted when Saar's best friend, Sha'er, walks under her on the forest floor. She follows, meaning to scare her, but discovers her sneaking off to meet with a secret lover, Tekro. This type of activity is forbidden before the choosing ceremony. If they were discovered, they would both be cast out of the tribe. Susan confronts Sha'er after their meeting is over. Saar is conflicted about what to do. On the one hand, she's disgusted by her actions, and her upbringing tells her Sha'er needs to be turned in. On the other hand, it's her best friend, and she doesn't want to be responsible for her being cast out. She decides to keep quiet, but insists Sha'er end it with Tekro. Weeks go by without incident. Then one night, when Susan is relaxing in the forest, she sees Tekro again. She's about to confront him, but then sees another male lizard, Tesek, following behind him. She drops out of the trees and distracts Tesek so he doesn't catch Sha'er and Tekro together. Soon after, Susan starts a rotation hunting for the mining camp. One day when she returns from hunting, she witnesses the mountain lizards overrunning the camp. She escapes to warn the rest of her tribe. After warning the tribe, she's sent on an emergency mission to beseech the secretive snakes for help. Once she arrives, we learn the snakes have also evolved. They are giant, enigmatic creatures with their own special abilities. Spoiler alert! If you are planning on reading the story and don't want any spoilers, close the video now. For those that want to know the ending, watch on. Susan learns that the snakes are telepathic when they speak directly in her mind. They feel themselves above the upcoming war and refuse to help. Susan rushes back, finding many mountain lizards in her path that she must fight through. Her archery skills serve her well, and she easily dispatches the enemies in her way. When she reaches the cliffs on the outskirts of her village, she finds Sha'er, her lover Tekro, and the other male, Tesek. Tesek has learned about their secret affair and has chosen this moment, during the confusion of the battle, to confront them. They fight a pitched battle on the cliffs. Susan hurries to help, but is slowed when another group of mountain lizards attack. She kills them quickly, but not fast enough to make a difference. She watches as Tesek falls off the cliff, and Tekro collapses into a heap. Sha'er takes her lover in her arms. Susan reaches them, but is powerless to do anything to help. Sha'er cradles Tekro as he breathes his last breaths. Tekro was the one that needed to die. The door back to the maze opens behind Susan. Sa'ar rushes forward to comfort her friend, leaving the now separated Susan behind. Susan turns around and goes through the door. Interested in reading the full story? Maze of Doors Lizard is available on Amazon. Thanks for tuning in to this edition of Final Evolution Fiction. You can leave me your questions in the comments, and subscribe below for future videos on original fiction, comic book, and music video ideas.